we have our chairman in a senior chartered accountant again from Jaipur, Mr. Atmaram Gupta, who is also one of the leading most builder. In Rajasthan, MP and other states. So friends, with this, I think we will start with the proceedings, and I would request our Mr. Rajesh Mehta, the National Vice President, AFTP Central Zone, to start with the proceedings. Mr. Rajesh Mehta.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. I hereby welcome you all in today's great seminar on GST on Joint Development Agreement. Today we are having session chairman CA Atmaram Gupta ji, and he is also the chairman of ARG Group. And today we have CA Manoj Nahata, speaker, today's key speaker from Guwahati. And I hereby welcome our Secretary General Samir Jani ji, Treasurer Chirag Parekh ji, Nitin Gautam ji, and so many other Hemant Modi ji, and so many other participants, and from our FTP family and all the participants, Vinay Jolly ji, Sandeep Agrawal ji. And one thing I want to discuss with you today, that we have started receiving calls from some of the participants that they have requested us to continue this webinar series even after the lockdown period is over. So our Pankaj Ghia ji, our chief advisor, my big brother, our mentor, has assured that the webinar series will be kept continued even after lockdown period, but this will be either once in a month or twice in a month, either on Saturday or Sunday. So I hereby request you all that please give your mobile number and email ID in our chat box, or kindly I will put the mobile number of some of our team members. So kindly SMS to us your mobile number, so we will keep you updated with our future programs, because these all the participants group have become a family nowadays. So we will keep continue with all programs with our this family for the forthcoming days. So now I hand over mic to.
Thank you, Rajesh bhai, and I now request Mr. Vinay Jolly, Chairman Central Zone, to speak few words for welcome.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. Chairman of today's webinar, respected Shri Atmaram ji Gupta, FCA, Chairman ARG Group, Builders and Developers. Learned speaker, Shri Manoj ji Nahata, Guwahati. Vice President of AIFTP from Central Zone, Rajesh ji Mehta. Secretary General, AIFTP National, Samir Jani ji, and all other office bearers and executive members of National AIFTP and all zones. Chief Advisor of AIFTP Central Zone, Shri Pankaj ji Ghia. Senior members and professional colleagues. Good morning to all of you. Respected members and esteemed dignitaries, at the outset, I welcome our Chairman, Shri Atmaram ji Gupta, FCA and Chairman ARG Group, Builders and Developers. Sir, I am grateful and thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and grace the webinar with your presence. I welcome our learned speaker, Shri Manoj Nahata, CA from Guwahati. I am grateful and thankful to you, sir, from the bottom of my heart, sir. I welcome and thankful all office bearers, executive members of National AIFTP and zones, all zones. I welcome and thankful to all the participants from all over India for their active participation in large number in this webinar series. Again, I welcome you all and thank you all. Thank you, Pankaj ji.
Thank you. Now our Secretary General Samir Jani is there. Samir bhai, sir, it's a privilege that you are here again and are regular on our webinar series. It is because of your guidance, good wishes, and all the support this webinar is continuing. Let's have some quick words from you.
Ari sir, thank you so much. As I said yesterday also, it is the inspiration of Pankaj bhai that has made at least 20-25 days of this lockdown better for us. I welcome the chairman, ARG Group, and the speaker, Mr. Manoj Nahata. We are here to hear him. Let us do that. I extend once again a warm welcome from AIFTP. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hemant Mod, the National Joint Secretary, AIFTP Central Zone, a regular, a supporter, a big brother to me, Mr. Hemant Mod, sir.
Sir, thank you for good words. I am not able to hear those words in this manner which you have presented me. Today is a very good subject which has been selected by this team. And I see this is a various aspect of the GST is applicable in this subject. So it is a very fruitful discussion. And this is the real national seminar where we have a speaker from all over the India and across the country. So I am thankful for this good organization, and I am thankful for the calling me. Thank you, Pankaj ji.
Thank you, sir. And now I would request our Secretary General, Sandeep Agarwal, to continue. Please, Sandeep.
Good morning, all of you. Welcome our today's chairman, Shri Atmaramji Gupta, chairman ARG Group. I also welcome our today's learned speaker, Manoj Nahata sir, who will enlighten on the issue of GST. I thankful to Pankaj Giyaji, our chief advisor. I am thankful to our Vinay Kumar ji Jolly ji, our chairman, Vice President Rajesh Mehta ji, who regularly doing hard with us, Shri Samir Jani ji, National Secretary, and Hemant Mod ji, Joint Secretary, National. I am welcome you all. Thankful to you all for joining us regularly. Thank you. Pankaj ji.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Our chairman, ARG Gupta ji, has also joined. I welcome Atmaram Gupta ji to be the chairman, who has kindly consented to be the chairman of this webinar. Friends, let me tell you that it is a success. This series of webinar is a success because of you. You had been participating day in, day out. You had been patronizing this webinar day in, day out. And because of your participation, because of your guidance, because of your support, this webinar has started and is going on. Friends, we try to adhere to three things. One is that we start on time and end on time. We start sharp at 10 o'clock, not a 1 minute more, not a 1 minute less. And we start with the proceedings with the specified time limits and request everybody to adhere to the time limits. We also request that you keep your mic off during the period, as because of your moving of the mic. Just a minute, I have to mute some mic.
पंकज जी, आपका माइक म्यूट हो गया। पंकज गिया जी, आपका माइक म्यूट है।
You see, sometimes if you want to regulate, you over-regulate, and you can mute your mic also. And that is what we say to the government also, ki don't over-regulate, only regulate in a lesser manner. And that is what you have seen a live demo, how our nuisance can be done. So friends, let me introduce our chairman, Shri Atmaram Gupta, a senior chartered accountant, a friend of friends, a prolific speaker, a knowledgeable person. He is one of the biggest developers in India and one of the biggest developers of Rajasthan, MP and neighboring states. He has started his journey from a very simple background, but is one of the leading, towering and affectionable personality of the state of Rajasthan and other neighboring states. A friend of friends, whenever for any association work, for any other work, for even any personal work, for advice, for some consultation we are required, he is always available to you. He is active in all sphere of social life. He is contributing a lot in this COVID pandemic, distributing food to the needy, distributing food to the required, contributing in the PM fund, contributing in the CM fund, and apart from it, he is at his various sites had opened a kitchen for the giving food to the needy. Friends, I don't have words to introduce my chairman, but let's hear him out. And I had requested him. He is a builder He is a developer, so he can come out with the recent problems being faced by the builders and developers, particularly in the field of joint development agreement and the questions of law in the GST and other things. मैंने उनसे ये भी रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि प्लीज share your views in a lucid manner so that we can have benefit of you. He will be sharing the views in Hindi and English for the benefit of both the participants, because we are joined east, west, north, south and central. And let me start the proceedings. Let me invite the chairman with my traditional good morning. So good morning India, and let's welcome our chairman Shri Atmaram Ji Gupta. Shri Atmaram Ji Gupta. Friends, we are live on YouTube right now. Sir, speak. Bhai Sahab, yes, continue. हाँ sir. Just a minute.
अब उनको भी अनम्यूट करना होगा, वो खुद भी अपना
नहीं, yes sir, you are live now.
Thank you, Pankaj ji, and good morning to all professional brothers and colleagues and my builder fraternity members. It's good opportunity which Mr. Pankaj has given me to share my views and to interact with the all professional bodies. Actually, I was in practice up to 1995, and later on I started my career as a builder and developer. So I am more of a developer now, and forgotten all practice things or CA, looking to the new laws and rules which are coming day to day. These seminars are providing us a good interactive sessions, and it has COVID has created this new innovation. इससे पहले इस तरह की पोजीशन नहीं आती थी कि हम लोग इंटरेक्शन बिरला ऑडिटोरियम में करें, कहीं कॉन्फ्रेंसेज में करें, बड़े बड़े सेमिनार्स होते थे जिसमें 2-2, 3-3 महीने की तैयारियां होती थी. बट this COVID has created this new scenario to interact with all global personalities. साथियों, पंकज जी का स्नेह है कि उन्होंने मेरे बारे में कुछ कहा, उन्होंने इतना अच्छा है, उनका अफेक्शन है. बाकी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. जयपुर में हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, राजस्थान में, एमपी में और कुछ अदर प्लेसेस के ऊपर. और ये रियल एस्टेट के अंदर जीएसटी आने के पहले तक ये था कि रियल एस्टेट इज स्टेट सब्जेक्ट, इट शुड नॉट बी टैक्स्ड बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. ओरिजिनली कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया के तहत इसमें टैक्स नहीं लगना चाहिए था, लेकिन इसको एक सर्विस कैटेगरी में मानते हुए कर्नाटका हाई कोर्ट का केस लेते हुए इसको सर्विस के अंदर मान लिया गया, और उसके बाद से इसके ऊपर सर्विस टैक्स, जीएसटी और ऑल अदर टैक्सेस सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने इम्पोज किए. तो एक तो मेरा सबसे पहले यही एक पॉइंट है आप लोगों से, प्रोफेशनल ब्रदर्स से, कि इसको जीएसटी इस पे लगना नहीं चाहिए. इट इज ए इंडस्ट्री which is selling its product pre-decided, pre-designed, pre-approved from the local authorities. So GST should not be imposed on real estate industry because it's a state subject and state government levies stamp duty on it. One country, one tax का formula है कि इसके ऊपर एक देश के अंदर 2 टैक्स नहीं लग सकते. तो उस फॉर्मूले को पीएम मोदी साहब के फॉर्मूला जो दिया उन्होंने, उसको हमें आगे प्रोपोगेट करना चाहिए. और चूंकि स्टैम्प ड्यूटी लगती है तो इसलिए जीएसटी से अबॉलिश होना चाहिए. फंडामेंटल एक पॉइंट तो सबसे पहला मेरा आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट है. और आज की सेमिनार में मैं एज ए बिल्डर मैं तो सुनना ज्यादा चाहूंगा और कुछ पॉइंट्स जो हैं आपसे शेयर करना चाहेंगे, और जो एक्सपर्ट स्पीकर हैं उनके व्यूज और आप लोगों से बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा. वो एक अवसर पंकज जी ने आज दिया है. फ्रेंड्स, रियल एस्टेट के अंदर अभी जॉइंट वेंचर एग्रीमेंट, बिकॉज वी आर टॉकिंग टुडे स्पेसिफिकली फॉर द जॉइंट वेंचर डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट्स. तो देयर आर सर्टेन क्वेरीज व्हिच अरोज इन माइंड ऑफ द डेवलपर्स एंड बिल्डर्स. इसके अंदर जो भी आज कोई एग्रीमेंट साइन होता है, साइन होने के साथ 3 टाइप्स के इसमें वेरिएशंस हो सकता है. एक तो रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग, लैंड किसी ने प्रोवाइड किया एंड आई एम डेवलपिंग दैट प्रोजेक्ट, so there may be a proposition of revenue sharing. Second is area sharing, और third may be long term lease format. तो इन केसेस के अंदर जो डॉक्यूमेंट साइन करते ही एक टैक्सेबिलिटी क्या बनती है, उसमें जीएसटी एप्लीकेबिलिटी अभी 2019 अप्रैल 2019 के बाद में कुछ चेंजेस भी आए हैं, रिवर्स चार्जेस सिस्टम भी किया गया है इसमें। तो उन चीजों को देखते हुए देखना कि इमीडिएटली ऑन साइनिंग ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट व्हाट इज द टैक्सेबिलिटी ऑफ द डेवलपर एंड व्हाट इज द टैक्सेबिलिटी ऑफ द लैंड ओनर। उस केस में जहां पर्टिकुलरली कॉमर्शियल कॉम्प्लेक्स है तो क्या स्थिति रहने वाली है, रेजिडेंशियल है तो क्या स्थिति रहने वाली है, और तीसरी स्थिति है कि लॉन्ग टर्म लीज मॉडल पे अगर जाते हैं कि जिसमें लीज साइन कर दिया उसने कि इतने पीरियड का लीज साइन कर दिया आपसे, लैंड राइट्स उन्होंने प्रपोज्ड हमको दे दिए, बाकी राइट्स उसके लैंड ओनर को ट्रांसफर हो जाएंगे आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट सीसी लेने के बाद में। तो ये एक डिफरेंट स्थितियां पैदा होती है जिसमें कंफ्यूजन होता है कि कॉमर्शियल वर्सेस रेजिडेंशियल में क्या डिफरेंस है जीएसटी में, लॉन्ग टर्म लीज वर्सेस शॉर्ट टर्म लीज के केस में, या डॉक्यूमेंट साइन करते उस समय क्या पोजीशन रहने वाली है। एक दूसरा पॉइंट अराइज होता है जो टेक्निकली आजकल हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि एक प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर जहां पीएमवाई स्कीम लागू हो रही है 90 मीटर बी टाइप सिटीज में लागू होता है, उन सिटीज के अंदर 90 स्क्वायर मीटर के छोटा फ्लैट है तो उसमें जीएसटी के रेट आज की डेट में 1% लागू है, और नॉर्मल साइज है अबाउट 90 मीटर तो उसमें 5% जीएसटी लागू होती है। तो यहाँ कुछ प्रोजेक्ट ऐसे हैं जिसके अंदर कुछ फ्लैट एक ही टावर के अंदर कुछ फ्लैट 90 मीटर से नीचे होते हैं, कुछ फ्लैट 90 मीटर से ज्यादा होते हैं। तो उस केस में माय क्वेश्चन इज दैट आई वुड लाइक टू हैव क्लैरिफिकेशन फ्रॉम यू पीपल्स कि इसके अंदर 90 मीटर से नीचे जो कुछ फ्लैट हैं उनको सेल डीड करने का अलग फॉर्मेट हो गया, उसके अंदर टैक्स रेट 1% लगेगी अगर पीएमवाई स्कीम में, और बड़े फ्लैट में 5% टैक्स लगेगी। इसमें कुछ भ्रांतियां हम लोगों के कंफ्यूजन्स हैं, तो वो एक पॉइंट अराइज होता है। दूसरा, इसके अंदर जो स्टॉक इन ट्रेड लास्ट में रहने वाला होता है कि आज कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट आ गया, एक केस तो ये है। एक केस होता है कि कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट अभी आना बाकी है और बिल्डिंग पूरी हो गई है, उसमें डिवीजन विद द लैंड ओनर एंड डेवलपर दोनों में स्टॉक का डिवीजन हो जाता है। कुछ फ्लैट्स डेवलपर के पास रहता है, कुछ लैंड ओनर के पास चले जाते हैं। तो लैंड ओनर को जो स्टॉक जा रहा है उसके ऊपर टैक्स की क्या पोजीशन रहने वाली है, वो एक देखने वाली बात रहती है कि क्या पोजीशन है, उसमें फुल टैक्स लगेगा या वो सेल होंगे, लैंड ओनर के शेयर के फ्लैट्स हैं वो जब सेल करेगा उस समय उसके ऊपर टैक्स लगेगा, टैक्सेबिलिटी होगी। ये एक पॉइंट अराइज होता है। और कुछ जगह सीसी नहीं आई और सीसी आने से पहले ही हम लैंड ओनर का डिटर्मिनेशन कर रहे हैं एग्रीमेंट का, वी डिसाइड टू अलोकेट शेयर ऑफ द लैंड ओनर एंड डेवलपर। उस केस के अंदर मान लीजिए 300 फ्लैट है, 100 फ्लैट 1/3 उनका लैंड ओनर का हिस्सा है, एंड आई अलोकेट 100 फ्लैट टू द लैंड ओनर बिफोर गेटिंग सीसी एंड बिल्डिंग इज अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन। तो क्या उस केस में आज बिल्डिंग कंप्लीट हुई भी नहीं है, सीसी भी नहीं आया और डिटर्मिनेशन भी हो गया है? यहाँ नोट करने की बात यह है कि उसके फ्लैट ईयर मार्क हो जाते हैं यहाँ और डिटर्मिनेशन एग्रीमेंट रजिस्टर्ड होता है। तो ऐसे केस में क्या 100 फ्लैट जो लैंड ओनर को दिए जा रहे हैं उस स्थिति में टैक्स लायबिलिटी बनेगी, लैंड ओनर पे बनेगी, डेवलपर पे बनेगी, या वो जब सेल करेगा जो लैंड ओनर है वो अपने 100 फ्लैट्स को सेल करेंगे कंप्लीट होने के बाद या बीच में भी सेल करेंगे, तो इसकी टैक्स एप्लीकेबिलिटी ऑन द डेट ऑफ डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ द डेवलपर्स एग्रीमेंट उस समय क्या रहने वाली है। ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यू है जो अमूमन जॉइंट वेंचर एग्रीमेंट्स में होता है, क्योंकि आज के टाइम पे लिक्विडिटी क्राइसिस जो बिल्डर्स डेवलपर्स सेगमेंट में फेस की जा रही है उसमें जॉइंट वेंचर एग्रीमेंट आज की डेट में सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर मोड ऑफ डेवलपमेंट है, कि जिसके तहत पूरे देश में आज जितने भी डेवलपमेंट हो रहे हैं वो सारे इसी मोड के ऊपर हो रहे हैं। और आउटराइट परचेज करके डेवलप करना कॉस्टली अफेयर हो गया है, इंटरेस्ट कॉस्टिंग बहुत ज्यादा उसमें इन्वॉल्व होती है, वाइबिलिटी उसकी हिट हो जाती है। साथियों, मैं आपके सामने एक पॉइंट ये शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि आज रियल एस्टेट इज द लार्जेस्ट एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोवाइडर आफ्टर एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर, एंड इट इज आल्सो कंट्रीब्यूटिंग 8% to 9% इन जीडीपी, जो कि बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूट कर रही है। और साथ ही साथ 300 इंडस्ट्रीज को सपोर्ट करती है, 300 इंडस्ट्रीज से जुड़ी हुई है, सीमेंट, स्टील, टाइल, फर्नीचर, एवरीथिंग। तो बहुत बड़ा सेक्टर है एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए। आज कोविड के टाइम पे इस सेक्टर की सबसे ज्यादा महत्ता समझ में आ रही है। तो ये मैं पंकज जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहूंगा और आप सबको इस इंटरेक्शन सेक्शन में अवसर दिया और इस पॉइंट को चूज किया गया जो कि आज की टाइम के अंदर सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट इश्यू है। और
सर वी विल कम बैक टू यू अगेन।
तो पूरा देश इस समय इन चीजों की समस्या जूझ रहा है पंकज जी, तो इस चीज के लिए बहुत ज्यादा डेलिब्रेशंस की आवश्यकता है। And once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity and to have interaction with all my fraternity brothers. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you very much, Chairman Sir, Shri Atmaramji Gupta, Senior Chartered Accountant and a leading builder of India. Friends, we are happy to say again we have crossed 600 mark. It is because of your support, because of your patronization, because of your affection that we are daily crossing 600 participants from all over India, east, west, north, south. And friends, this is something which is remarkable, and it is only because of your love and affection, because of your thing. Now we have our star speaker of the day today, Mr. Manoj Nata, Chartered Accountant from Guwahati. He is a wonderful speaker, a prolific speaker, expert on joint development agreements, expert on the real estate matters, and he is a senior chartered accountant from Guwahati. Very active in the social activities, very active in the professional activities, has written or delivered many lectures, written many papers. His papers had been published on the leading journals, including the Tax Guru and other websites. He has been a regular contributor in the seminars organized by the Chartered Accountant Institute, by other professional bodies, trade bodies, a good friend, a friend of friends. And not to waste any time, directly moving on to the topic, let's welcome our All India Federation Life member, our dear friend, Mr. Manoj Nata from Guwahati as the today's speaker. And I would hand over and ask him to complete the deliberations. He has given a wonderful PPT. And when you will go through the PPT, you will see how much work he has done in giving this lecture. So let's welcome Mr. Manoj Nata and request him to continue with his deliberation. Mr. Manoj Nata, you are live now. Mr. Manoj Nata?
Yes, Pankaj ji. I'm just sharing my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, continue speaking. Yes.
Yes. Good morning, friends. Respected session chairman, respected AFTP national leadership, respected zonal leadership, respected past presidents, distinguished professionals, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm morning to all of you. I hope I am audible and visible.
Yeah, everything goes on.
First of all, I would like to convey my gratitude to the AFTP Central Zone for giving me an opportunity to share my view on the topic taxability of Joint Development Agreement under GST. Friends, I will start my presentation with a rider, as Dr. Saraf yesterday said, so I am following his path only. The views expressed in this deliberation will be absolutely my personal views. There may be other opinions also, so the members are expected to refer the relevant provisions of law before going through my presentations, before acting on the same. So friends, as we all know that joint development agreement is the oldest form of arrangement between a builder and developer. Yes, my chairman has rightly pointed out that there are some difficulty on the part of the landowner as well as on the part of the developer. So they both join hands together so that the landowner offers land and developer offers his expertise, skill and his knowledge and his financial ability to construct a project. So they both join hands together and accordingly they enter into a joint development agreement. So first, meaning of joint development agreement: landowner contributes land and developer undertakes the responsibility, and developer obtains necessary permission from various authorities and also do marketing of the projects. Now, types of joint development agreement, if we see, it can be area sharing, it can be revenue sharing, it can be a combination of both. Area sharing agreement can further be subdivided into pure residential project, pure residential project, pure commercial project, residential cum commercial project. Further, the residential projects can be subdivided into affordable residential projects, non-affordable residential projects. Friends, one thing here I would like to clear, that joint development agreement should never be misunderstood as joint venture, because both the terms are having different meaning and are on different footing and having different taxability. Friends, though I have tried to make distinction between the term joint venture, joint development, partnership and co-ownership in my next slide, but I will restrict my discussion only to the joint development versus joint venture. You can refer my PPT for further reference. Friends, the Honorable Apex Court in case of Fakirchand Gulati versus Uppal Agencies had an occasion to distinguish between the term joint development and joint venture. So the Honorable Lordship has distinguished so minutely the difference between these two terms, and I request all the members to refer this judgment once you want to know the difference between joint development and joint venture. Further, the central government has also issued circular number 35 on 5th March 2018, making certain things clear about the taxability of joint venture. So I am restricting here with joint venture and joint development. Now, the most important part, friends, when a joint development agreement is entered into, what are the taxable limbs? What are the taxable transactions? It has to be understood first, then only we can know how it will be taxed. So as soon as a landowner contributes land or landowner transfers development right to the developer, he transfer of development right. He transferred TDR to the landowner. So the first limb of the transaction is transfer of development right by the landowner to the developer. Now, suppose it is an area sharing agreement. Once construction is completed, the landowner transfers the constructed property, the developer transfers the constructed property to the landowner. So again, it will be a taxable transaction, service of construction by developer to the landowner. So these are the two limbs of transaction. Now the third limb of the transaction is sale of under construction flats by the developer. The developer may sell the under construction flats out of his share. He may start booking. As we all know that sale of under construction flat is a taxable service. So accordingly, this is the third taxable limb of transaction. Now the fourth taxable limb of transaction is likewise developer. Landowner may also sell the under construction flat out of his share. So again, he will be liable to pay tax on such under construction flat sale of flats. Now the fifth limb of the transaction. Mainly there are four limb of transactions, but fifth limb has become now important with effect from 1st April 2019. Why it is so, I am going to tell you. With effect from 1st April 2019, there has been a denial of ITC to the builders and developer for the new projects as well as for the ongoing projects in respect of which option of hold rate has not been exercised. And further, there is a condition that 80% of the purchases of developer should be made from registered party. Not only that, the developer has to furnish a separate return of it, and they have to make payment of the differential amount under reverse charge mechanism. So in order to avoid all these nitty-gritties, nowadays what developer does, they enter into a works contract agreement with a separate contractor, and they can take a bill from the contractor, and accordingly they can book the expenses in their books. So this is the fifth limb, that services by a works contractor to the developer in respect of construction of the projects. So these are the four taxable limbs. Now one question arises, friends, that is it necessary to register a joint development agreement? Under GST law, there is no such stipulation that a joint development agreement should be registered. However, under income tax law, if we refer the newly inserted section 45 subsection 5A, it puts a condition that in order to avail the benefit of the said section, the joint development agreement must be registered. However, the other allied laws like Transfer of Property Act or the Indian Registration Act may also require sometimes in some states to get the joint development agreement registered. And in general, we see that joint development agreement is registered. So these are the taxable limbs under GST. Now let us understand the framework of law under which these taxable limbs are going to be taxed. The legal position, if we talk about under GST, Section 7 prescribes the scope of supply. Supply includes sale, exchange, barter, license, rental of goods and services for consideration in furtherance of business. If we refer the definition of goods, goods means every kind of movable property. So immovable property is out of the purview of the definition of goods. That means land is out of the purview of the definition of goods. Services, if you remember the earlier law, services was defined like this, means an activity carried out by one person for another for a consideration. Now, with effect from 1st July 2017, after introduction of GST, the definition of services has been drastically changed. Now they have defined services in the manner that services means anything other than goods. Now whatever on this planet available other than goods are services. So this is the definition of service, which is a very vast and very wide and covering within its sweep everything on this planet as service. Further, entry 5 of schedule 3, which prescribes that the sale of land is outside the scope of supply. That is, it is neither a service nor a goods. Also, construction service is made taxable by virtue of entry 5B of schedule 2. And under the same schedule, under entry number 6, works contract service is made liable to tax. So this is the basic frameworks of law under which these transactions are going to be taxed. Now a question arises, when a landowner transfers developmental right to a builder or a developer, is it a taxable service at all? In other words, is TDR an immovable property? Friends, there are two schools of thought. One says that transfer of developmental right is as good as transfer of immovable property, so it should not be taxed. Whereas the other school says that the transfer of developmental right is nothing but it is a service. So let us understand the two schools of thought and then I will give you my opinion. If we go with the first school of thought, they say that TDR is neither lease nor license. According to them, lease is nothing but a right to enjoy the immovable property, whereas license is nothing but a permission to use the land without right to exclusive possession. So TDR is neither lease nor license. The transfer of rights for constructing the property or constructing the apartments is not the lease or nor the license. Further, according to this school of thought, land includes benefit arising out of land. The Supreme Court judgment in case of Girnar Traders versus State of Maharashtra has also confirmed this view. And further, if we go through the definition of immovable property under General Clauses Act, we get an impression that land includes benefit arising out of land. So TDR is not at all a taxable because it is nothing but a benefit arising out of land. And in so many decisions, the Honorable Courts has held that benefit arising out of land is an immovable property. So TDR is not going to be taxable under GST. Now let us come to the second school of thought, which supports the view that TDR is nothing but it is a service rendered by landowner to the developer. This school of thought advocates that had it been the intention of legislature to exclude the benefit arising out of land, they could have mentioned the same in clear words under Schedule 3 itself. When they have mentioned the sale of land as excluded from supply, why they could not have mentioned the benefit arising out of land here? So they purposefully not mentioned, meaning thereby that it is very much a service. One Supreme Court judgment is also there, Bala Bhaskar Rao versus CST, wherein it is held that exchange of undivided land with builder for constructed area amounts to service. Friends, if you ask my personal view, the position of law as on date is very much clear. Under earlier law, there was a dispute regarding the taxability of TDR. If I remember correctly, there were some decisions, one of DLF commercials, wherein the Honorable Chandigarh Tribunal held that TDR is nothing but a benefit arising out of land, so it should not at all be taxable under service tax. So under earlier law, TDR was not taxable as a service, but under GST, the government time and again has made it clear its intention by different circulars, notifications, FAQs, that TDR is nothing but it is a service rendered by landowner to the developer and it should be taxable. And recently, some advanced rulings are also having the same opinion that TDR is a taxable service and it should be taxable. So I am now finally giving my view that as on the date, the position of law is very much clear. So we have to follow it only until unless the apex court or some other high courts give otherwise opinion. So with this proposition only that TDR is a taxable service under GST as on date, I am moving further. Friends, these are the list of notifications issued by the government with effect from 1st April 2019. As my chairman has rightly pointed out, that with effect from 1st April 2019, there has been a drastic change in the taxation of real estate sector. Government has issued so many notifications clarifying each and every aspects of the real estate. Further FAQs were also issued and removal of difficulty orders were also issued. So these are the list of notifications. I am not going into detail much. before going to further, let us understand some important definitions. As my chairman informed that we have to make distinction between the residential project, commercial project, and a combination of both. So let us first understand these definitions for a better clarity. Friends, real estate project is defined under section 2 subsection ZN under RERA Act, Residential of RERA Act, whereby that real estate projects means all types of projects, whether residential or commercial, which are made for the purpose of selling. Here one notable point is that development of land into plots is also a real estate project, and recently, very recently, some advanced ruling authorities has also held the view that development of land into plots amounts to real estate project, amounts to a taxable service. So the definition of real estate project has made it very clear that all types of projects, whether residential or commercial, which are meant for sale, are real estate project. Now question comes, what is residential real estate project? The government has given a meaning of residential real estate project as a real estate project in which the carpet area of commercial apartments is not more than 15% of the total carpet area. So if we see the definition of residential real estate project, it implies that it is a real estate project, first of all, in which the carpet area of commercial apartment is not more than 15% of the total carpet area. So it will come to residential real estate project. Why I am making you understand these definition? Because the tax rate is based on the definitions, whether it is a residential real estate project, whether it is a real estate project, whether it is a commercial project. So we will know how these definitions are going to help us. Friends, if we see the definition of affordable residential apartment, again the government has given conditions for affordable residential apartment, that in case of metro cities, its area should not exceed 60 square meter and its cost should not exceed 45 lakh. Whereas in case of non-metro cities, they have given the meaning of metro cities as well as non-metro cities in order to avoid any dispute. Whereas in case of non-metro cities, the carpet area is 90 square meter and the cost of the such flat or such apartment should not be more than 45 lakh rupees. Now a question arises, a single project is having affordable as well as non-affordable project. Can the developer get the benefit of separate tax rate? Yes, in my opinion, very much yes, because there is nothing in the notification which puts a bar that a project cannot have a residential commercial project. So the benefit is very much available, number one. Number two, the cost of 45 lakh rupees is inclusive of everything. If you are charging for a car parking, it should be included in the cost of 45 lakh rupees. If you are charging for a preferential area location, this cost should have been included in the 45 lakh rupees. So the twin conditions are there, two conditions are there, and these two conditions has to be satisfied simultaneously. Number one, area should be 60 or 90 square meter, depending upon the metropolitans or non-metro cities, and further the cost should not be more than 45 lakh rupees. If any of the condition is missing, it should not be called as a affordable residential apartment. Now ongoing project, this is a very good definition given for ongoing projects, and it was necessary because when there was a shift in the rate of tax with effect from 1st April 2019, many builder or developer try to keep their projects or complete their projects under the earlier law, so in record that the project has been completed or it is an ongoing. There may be some reasons for inputs and all these things. So the government has given a definition of ongoing projects. Three conditions needs to be satisfied. Number one, the commencement certificate should have been issued before 31st March. Completion certificate should not have been issued before 31st March. The apartments being constructed in the project should have been booked wholly or partly before 31st March. Further, the land filling work or foundation work should have been started before 31st March. So these are the conditions given for qualifying a project to be an ongoing project. Friends, now I am coming to the tax rates. If we see the tax rates, I have given a comparative charts for the new projects as well as for the old projects or the ongoing projects in respect of which option has been exercised. As we all know that with effect from 1st April, the rates were changed, inputs were restricted or inputs were denied. So a one-time benefit or one-time option was given to those builders whose projects were ongoing. They can either choose the new system or they can opt for the earlier one with the existing rates. So for the commercial project, tax rate under the earlier law or the earlier rule was 12% with ITC, and it is also 12% with ITC under the present regime. Friends, whatever tax rate I have mentioned is after deducting 1/3 value on account of land. So the original rate was 18%. If we deduct 1/3, the rate comes to 12%. Similar will be the in case of other items also. So for affordable residential project, rate is 1% presently with no ITC. Earlier it was 12%. After deduction of land, it comes to 8%. For mixed projects, wherein the commercial as well as residential are together. So for the commercial, purely commercial project, present rate is 5% with no ITC, and for the others, it is 5% no ITC, and for affordable only it is 1% no ITC. Now, for commercial apartment in which carpet area is less than 15%, the concessional rate is available. For commercial apartment having carpet area more than 15%, in such case there is no benefit of concessional rate. Rather, the commercial apartment will be taxed at a full rate of 12%, as taxed earlier. For non-affordable apartment, the rates are same as were under the earlier regime. So these are basically the tax rates. Now you are surprising that why I have not mentioned the tax rate of TDR here. I have mentioned the tax rate of everything. So friends, the tax rate of TDR is 18% under earlier law and 18% under the current regime also. So however, the taxability thereof has been changed, that we will come to know in the next slides. Now the new rates with effect from 1st April 2019 are subject to some conditions. What are those conditions? That input tax credits shall not be eligible, number 1. Number 2, these rates are mandatory with effect from 1st April for project commencing with effect from 1st April 2019. Number 3, that for the purpose of this scheme, the projects are divided into residential real estate project or others, as we have discussed earlier. Now, some of the important conditions which we will discuss in detail, as my chairman has also directed me to put some light on these conditions. First, the condition is that the payment of GST under the new regime or under the new tax structure with effect from 1st April 2019 has to be made in cash only, meaning thereby that no liability can be discharged through the input tax credit or ITC. Number 2, ITC is totally curtailed or totally restricted or totally denied. There will be no ITC. Further, if you are having earlier ITC in your books and you are moving to the new project or new rate with effect from 1st April, you are having ongoing projects, so you have to reverse proportionate ITC on account of the time of supply which is due on or after 1st April 2019. So the detail or the manner of reversal, such reversal has been prescribed in Annexure 1 and 2. I am not going into much detail about these annexures because it needs a separate session altogether. Now, the most important condition is that at least 80% of inputs and input services other than capital goods, TDR, electricity, high-speed diesel, motor speed and natural gas should have been purchased from registered persons only. So this is the most important condition which government has given, that 80% purchases of a builder should have been made from the registered person only. If there is only any shortfall on account of such 80% purchases, the builder is liable to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism under section 9(4) at the rate of 18%. Further, the government has not stopped here. Further, they have also made it clear that if you are purchasing cement, tax at the rate of 28% under reverse charge mechanism under section 9(4) has to be made if you are purchasing cement from unregistered person. Similarly, for capital goods also, if you are purchasing from unregistered person, in that case, the appropriate rate as prescribed in the net rate notification has to be applied under reverse charge mechanism. Friends, this particular provision is going to create much problem for the builder, because they have not only to pay tax under reverse charge without input, further they have to make certain compliances also. They have to submit a return in electronic form to the government mentioning that 80% purchases was made or not made, and if there is any shortfall, it has to be paid by the next financial year within month of June. So this puts an additional burden on the builders and developer who are already overburdened with the juggernaut of the taxation. Friends, one of the FAQs of the government has clarified that for the purpose of calculation of 80% of threshold limit, the payment of tax under reverse charge under 9(4), value of exempted supply or services should be included in the value of purchases from unregistered person. Friends, the government has made it clear that if you are making exempted supply or exempted services from unregistered person, the value thereof will be counted while calculating 80% limit as good as unregistered persons. You have made purchases from unregistered persons. Now, again, it will be a big problem for the builder. As we all know that the major portion of a builder's expenses apart from its construction is the interest, because builder runs on funds from bank or from private parties in the form of unsecured loans. So what will happen if builder is paying interest to banks and interest to private parties on unsecured loans? Will it be considered as a supply from unregistered party? Shall the builder have to pay tax at the rate of 18% under RCM? Further, he is also not entitled to input tax credit. When the post-COVID builders are suffering, there is a liquidity crunch. This provision is going to kill the builders virtually, I am telling you. But friends, I have some different opinion on this particular matter regarding the taxability of exempt supply under reverse charge under section 9(4). Friends, my point is that when the supply per se is exempted under section 11, how can it be taxed under reverse charge mechanism under section 9(4)? Though the government has clarified in FAQs that it should be taxable, but I don't think that legally it will be taxable. If it is challenged, it is a good case to win, I believe. So my point is that if you are having bank interest, we know that all the banks are mostly registered under GST, because apart from banking, they are having some trading or dealing in goods and like gold coins and these things, and they are rendering services. So banks are registered. So so far as the bank interest is concerned, all right, it is supply from registered person only. But what about the interest on unsecured loan from private parties? It is going to create a big problem for the builder, because they have to consider it as purchase from unregistered person and they have to pay reverse charge tax under 18% on it, and they further are not entitled to input tax credit on account of same. But my point is different, that when the supply itself is exempted, how can there be a question of taxability under section 9(4)? So with this, I move further. Some more conditions are put on the builder, that project-wise account has to be kept by the builder for registered as well as for unregistered persons. Further, the calculation of tax payment on account of shortfall made has to be discharged by 30th June and a separate return has to be filed. One more condition which will trouble the builder: if you are purchasing cements from unregistered person, the liability will have to be paid on monthly basis instead of yearly basis. So it will be a monthly exercise for the builder if he is purchasing cement from unregistered person, and he have to discharge the liability. Further, though input tax credit is denied especially by virtue of these notifications, but still a builder has to keep the account of input tax credit and report it in the GSTR 3B monthly return and show the same amount as ineligible credit. So this is again a futile exercise. On the one hand, they are denied input. On the other hand, they have been asked to keep the record and show in the return and show it as reversal. So I don't know what is the purpose and intent of this particular clause or particular conditions. Now, friend, the next part is the taxability of TDR. We have discussed that there are 5 transactions in case of taxability of joint development agreement. So the first case is taxability of TDR under GST. Though in my slides I have covered the position prior to 1st April also, but for the sake of discussion, due to the paucity of time, we will take up the taxability with effect from 1st April 2019 only. If you have any specific questions relating to prior period, I will definitely try to answer those questions during question answer hours. Now, friend, with effect from 1st April 2019, TDR is taxable as likewise earlier, but the position is shifted. Position of tax has been shifted. Earlier, the landowner was required to take registration and has to discharge his liability. Now, with effect from 1st April 2019, liability of taxability of TDR has been shifted on the builder. The builder needs to pay tax on TDR at the rate of 18% under section 9(3) of the CGST Act. Further, there is also an exemption being granted in case of residential real estate project, the residential apartment. The exemption is like this, that if builder has sold all the area or all the projects before issuance of completion certificate or occupancy certificate, in that case, builder is entitled to get exemption. TDR will not be taxable. Let us take an example, very simple example I am taking. I will make you understand the whole concept through this example. Friends, I am a landowner. I am possessing land. Pankaj Ji Gia is a developer. In real, he is an advocate, but I am presuming that he is a developer. So Pankaj Ji and me joins hand together. I am offering land. Pankaj Ji is constructing 10 flats on it. Out of 10 flats, we have decided that I will share 5 flats and he will share 5 flats. Now, friends, what service I am giving? I am transferring developmental right to the Pankaj Ji for the construction purpose. What Pankaj Ji is transferring to me? He is transferring me the constructed area. So under the earlier law, Pankaj Ji, I being a landowner was required to pay tax on the transfer of development right. But under the new law, under the new tax regime with effect from 1st April 2019, Pankaj Ji needs to discharge the liability on account of TDR on behalf of me, because the burden is shifted on Pankaj Ji only with effect from 1st April 2019. Now a question comes that if Pankaj Ji makes the sale of the project, his 5 plate he sells before the completion certificate or issuance of occupation certificate, in that case the TDR will be fully exempted is in hand. He need not pay any tax. But in case of commercial project, no such exemption is granted. In case of commercial project, TDR has to be discharged on the full value. There is no exemption as such which is applicable to residential project. Now here one more question comes, that what happens if I entered into a joint development agreement prior to 1st July 2017, that is prior to GST introduction, and I am transferring the constructed area as on date, that is post GST. So in such transaction, the levy was prior to 1st July, and prior to 1st July, there was no liability of TDR, as we all know that under service tax regime, TDR was considered as a immovable property. So in such case, there will be no TDR liability if such constructed property is transferred as on date. Now second question comes, I have entered into a JDA with effect from 1st July 2017 onwards. Say I have entered in the month of August 2017, and today I am transferring constructed area to the landowner. In such case, there is no exemption given on account of TDR, and the landowner needs to take registration, and landowner has to discharge the liability on account of TDR. The only exemption is available with effect from 1st April 2019 only for the projects which have commenced or which have started with effect from 1st April 2019 onwards. Friends, suppose in this example, 5 plates Pankaj Ji will give me. Pankaj Ji will skip 5 plates with him, and he will make sale of those 5 plates. If he sells entire 5 plates before issuance of certificate of completion or occupancy certificate, there will be no TDR liability. Now suppose if he sells only 3 plates out of those 5 plates, so for the remaining 2 plates, he has to pay TDR GST on TDR under reverse charge mechanism in proportionate manner. So only the area or the plates which we have, the developers sold before issuance of completion certificate or occupancy certificate is exempted. The rest portion, that is unsold stock on account of residential project, has to be taxed in a prescribed manner. I will discuss the manner of taxation. Now time of supply. Friends, with effect from 1st April 2019, the time of supply in case of TDR is a bit different. In case of residential project, whether the consideration is monetary or non-monetary, time of supply occurs on issuance of completion certificate or first occupation, whichever is earlier. The taxable event was triggered as soon as the agreement was entered, but the liability is deferred till the completion of the projects. It is very logical government has done it, because when the project is, when an agreement is entered into, at that point of time, landowner or the developer may not have the funds in his hand to make payment of these such hefty taxes. So that is why the government has given this liberty to the builder and developer that okay, your taxable event will trigger as soon as you enter into the agreement, but your liability will be shifted once your project is completed. So once your project is completed, you discharge your liability accordingly. So for residential projects, whether the consideration is monetary or non-monetary, the liability arises in the hands of developer only and only when project is completed. Similarly, for commercial projects, they have given different time of supply for monetary consideration. For commercial project, the time of supply for monetary consideration will be governed by section 13 only. That is, as soon as the builder pays the amount to the landowner, the builder will be liable to pay tax on reverse charge basis in case of commercial projects. But in case of non-monetary project consideration, the same time of supply as applicable to residential will equally applicable for commercial also. The time of supply will be only on completion of project. So this is the time of supply. Now a question comes, what is the value of supply in case of transfer of developmental right? Friends, I am taking again the example which I have given. 5 flats Pankaj will construct for me. He will give me 5 flats. 5 flats he will keep. Agreement was entered into say 1st May 2019, and project is completed say as on today 28th April 2020. So now the law says that the value of TDR will be the value of similar apartment charged by a builder to the independent buyer while making the booking or while getting the amount nearest to the date of agreement. Now say that Pankaj has launched the project on 10th May. We have entered into an agreement of 1st May 2019. Pankaj has launched this project on 10th May and the rate he quoted is 5,000 square feet. So this 5,000 square feet will be the rate which has to be calculated in respect of unsold plate, and liability will be discharged accordingly. Further, the government has restricted this liability to a certain level. What is the level? Government has said that in case of residential project, your liability should not exceed 1% or 5%. 1% for affordable project, 5% for non-affordable project. That remain unbooked on the date of CC. So in this example, Pankaj is selling 5 flats for out of his share, and if he has sold 3 flats before completion and 2 flats remaining unsold, so in such case for the 2 flats the taxable value will be the date at which earlier, that is on the 10th May when he booked the flat, the first rate will be applicable, and on that rate this TDR will be calculated. Now this TDR, liability of TDR will subject to further some capping. That capping is 1% or 5% of the value of the unsold stock. Value of the unsold stock. And now how he will take the value of these unsold stock? The last date on which booking was completed nearest to date. लास्ट जिसने पंकज जी ने जिस रेट में बुकिंग की है लास्ट अपनी, उस रेट के ऊपर उन अनसोल्ड प्लेट की वैल्यू निकाली जाएगी और on that value only 1% or 5% will be calculated. So liability on account of TDR will be list of the following, that is 18% of the unsold value of the TDR on unsold plate, and 1% or 5% of the value of unsold plate. This will applicable only to the residential projects, not to the commercial project. For commercial projects, the liability will be calculated at the rate of 18% straightforward. I am giving an example to make you understand.
Manoj ji, 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Sure. So let's keep the example. I'm moving further. Now, in case of the second point is taxability of construction services to the landowner. Now, first aspect we have discussed the taxability of TDR. Now, Pankaj is giving me the construction service. So the law says that the construction service which Pankaj is giving me, again it will be taxable for 5 plates. What will be the tax rate? Tax rate will be 8% or 12% depending on the affordable or non-affordable. ITC option if old rate is exercised. No ITC if new rates is new option is exercised. However, for commercial project it will be 12% only. Time of supply will again be as and when the project is completed for this for both residential as well as commercial. So I am coming to some important issues. These things are there in my discussion. Now, one interesting thing I would like to discuss, that when a developer renders construction services to the landowner, he raises generally bills by charging GST. And under the new regime, under the new tax rate regime, the only exception whereby ITCs can be availed by landowner is that he can take claim of input tax credit on the bill raised by the land developer on landowner. So if Pankaj will raise bill on me on account of construction services by charging 1% or 5%, whatever is the rate, I am entitled to take input tax credit, provided my GST liability should be at least equal to the tax charged by the Pankaj. This is the only exception where input can be claimed. Now coming to some important or key issues. Can we charge old tax rate and claim ITC for new projects after 1st April 2019? Friends, government has made it clear through various FAQs that with effect from 1st April 2019, those projects which have started, the liability has to be discharged under new rate only. But I have a different view on this. Friends, my view is that when a rate notification is subject to some conditions, how can it be compulsory? How can it be compulsory? I can opt or I may not opt. If I am not opting for it, I am falling under residuary entry and I am charging 18% tax and I can claim input as per section 16. Where is the bar in law? So this is the point which is going to trouble the builders very much, that with effect from 1st April 2019, is it compulsory to charge the new rate only? I have different opinion. Let's the honorable courts or tribunals has to take a call on this matter, then it is finalized. Now next point is development of plot or site formation a taxable service? Yes, it is a very much taxable service. If we see the definition of real estate project under RERA, the development of plot is included there. Further, some of the advanced rulings recently issued has also clarified the position in case of Marquee Spaces Private Limited and in case of Satyaji Infratech Private Limited, that sale of plot is also a taxable service. Now a question comes that is 1/3 standard deduction on account of land enough? Friends, take an example of city of Mumbai, where a flat is being sold at the rate of 25,000 per square feet. Now if you see the construction cost of the such flat will be hardly 5,000 or 10,000 maximum. So this 20,000 will be on account of land and profit. In real, the land value is very much high than the 1/3 deduction. So the government is putting a condition that only 1/3 standard deduction will be allowed. According to me, this is not enough, but the position of law is such that we have to accept it. Next question is introduction of valuation mechanism by rate notification valid? Friends, notification 3/2019 has introduced a valuation mechanism in case of TDR and all these things. A question comes, can government issue valuation mechanism by way of rate notification? Can't it be considered as an excessive delegation of powers? Friends, if you read the notification very minutely, notification 3/2019 dated 29th March 2019, you will come to know that the notification begins with the word in exercise of powers conferred under subsection 5 of section 15. Section 15 talks about valuation and subsection 5 authorizes government to notify the valuation mechanism for certain service goods or services as they deem fit. So it is very much valid. Government can introduce valuation mechanism by way of rate notifications. Next question comes, can developer prepone his liability on construction services rendered to landowner to enable landowner to claim ITC? In this example only, let us say that project is completed, Pankaj will raise bill on me, I am entitled to input tax credit, but what about the output tax liability which I have already discharged while booking flats for my independent buyer? So in such a case, there is a problem. The law is silent on this point about the timing of this billing. Though law says that the landlord can claim input tax credit. Now a question comes, can we prepone the liability? Can I request my my developer to raise bill on me at an earlier point of time, that is before completion, so that I may claim the ITC? There is no bar in the law. I believe this can be done by intimating to your assessing officer or the jurisdiction officer. Now next question comes, construction of individual or ancestral land of landowner for own use, is it in furtherance of business? Friends, if we see the definition of business, it is very vast and includes all form of business, adventure, trade, commerce, whatever, and it is irrespective of any frequency, any certainty, any recurrence, and any interval. So the government has clarified that if you are making construction on an individual ancestral land for your own purpose, although still it will be a taxable service. But in my view, if you see the definition of supply under section 7, the word in furtherance of business is there. When I am constructing for my own use, it is not at all in furtherance of business. So in my view, it should not be taxable. With this, I quit. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. Pankaj, I hope I am on time.
Array, you are absolutely on time, and it is the feature of this webinar series that we try to be on time, and we respect the other timelines also of all the other professionals who are joining throughout India. So we had heard a wonderful deliberations from Mr. Manoj Nata. I think he was quick, he was fast, he was precise, he was accurate, and he was to the point. And this is what we need from all the speakers, all the participants also, to save the time, because we can continue with this discussion for 4 hours also, and we can wrap up this discussion as Mr. Manoj Nata has shown in 40 minutes also. I will request Mr. Sandeep Agarwal first to share one of the programs we will be having on 2nd of May. That would be a inspirational webinar. Sandeep, are you hearing me?
Please close the screen of Nata sir.
Nata sir, I would stop. Yes. Sandeep, you share the program.
Friends, Good morning. We proudly announce our inspirational webinar with Sister B.K. Shivani on 2nd May. It is exclusively organized by All India Federation of Central Zone and Jurist Wing of Raja Yoga Brahma Kumaris. I'm very much feeling proud to announce this webinar that will be on 2nd May, just after the day of this series will be, and as our Vice President sir said today that we are going to start next. On first day, 2nd May, on 10 a.m. Sister Shivani will be live with us, exclusive for us. Please send your queries, because no spot query will be taken. Please send your query on aftpcentral@gmail.com. We will.
Okay, Sandeep. Now let me take it out. Let me take it out. Friends, this would be an inspirational program. We are starting the 3rd series of our webinar series. So on 2nd, please join us. Sister Shivani of the Brahma Kumaris is an inspirational speaker having followers throughout the world, and there all persons from the world will be joining. It will be on YouTube, and from tomorrow we will be sharing the YouTube link also, so that all the lectures also would be on YouTube also, along with the Zoom. Other details would be shared. Sandeep, stop screening. Sandeep, stop share screen. And with this, I would request now our chairman, Shri Atmaramji Gupta, to please come and say his concluding remarks. Before he says his concluding remarks, friends, let me say that we all want what we want. No double taxation in the property contract. We have to see that there should not be any double contract. There was an anomaly, there was a consistent litigation that a builder-developer agreement, in such case the builder or who has shared the land with the developer do not want to pay tax on his share of land. And if the developer charges tax, whether it was service tax or now GST, on the share of flats or development allocated to the landowner, again there is always a conflict of interest, and question of input tax credit and the liability of tax also comes into picture. Lot of litigations are there. Let us have a chairman view. His view is very clear. No GST should be applicable on building and land contract, and more so in view of the present pandemic. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, Mr. Shri Atmaramji Gupta, I make you live on this thing. Shri A.R. Gupta, sir.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. I am really thankful to Manoj Nahata ji, who covered whole lecture in 40 minutes. Actually, it needs a whole day seminar. I would like to request Pankaj ji to have seminar on the subject for whole day, which will cover all queries and problems which developers are facing, tax practitioners are facing in day-to-day matters. दोस्तों, इसमें नाटा जी ने बहुत अच्छी से सारे पॉइंट्स को कवर करते हुए जो 2-4 मैंने पॉइंट्स रेज किए थे उनका भी क्लैरिफाई किया उन्होंने बहुत बढ़िया से, और पंकज जी को एक डेवलपर बनाते हुए, तो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट पंकज जी टू बिकम डेवलपर, हैव प्रैक्टिस नाउ एंड ही कैन परफॉर्म बेटर. तो दोस्तों, 2-3 पॉइंट ऐसे हैं जिसमें एक बात मैं चाहूंगा नाटा जी से और क्लैरिफाई करने के लिए कि TDR जॉइंट वेंचर डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट हो गया, लास्ट में टर्मिनेट अलोकेट कर दिए. जैसे पंकज जी ने 5 फ्लैट दे दिए उनको लैंड ओनर को, तो उस समय जो बिल रेज करके टैक्स चार्ज कर लिया डेवलपर ने, उसके बाद लैंड ओनर उनमें से 3 फ्लैट बेच रहा है, तो बेचने के टैक्स तो पूरा 5% लेके सेट ऑफ मिलेगा उसे या नहीं मिलेगा, एक तो पॉइंट ये है. और जो 2 फ्लैट अनसोल्ड रह गए उसके पास, लैंड ओनर के पास आफ्टर CC, तो उन 2 फ्लैट के ऊपर क्या रेट आपने जैसा बताया 18% टैक्स लगेगा. इट इज क्रिएटिंग कंफ्यूजन, क्योंकि लॉट ऑफ बिल्डर्स आर आल्सो लिसनिंग आवर प्रोग्राम. सेकंड थिंग,
पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट रिप्लाई दूं तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा क्या मेरे ख्याल से. आपका
let the chairman complete and then we will take the
point. ज्यादा नहीं, मराठा जी 2-3 पॉइंट है, तो वुड बी बेटर टू स्पीक स्ट्रेट वे. तो दूसरा पॉइंट है कि जो लैंड डेवलप प्लॉटेड सेल होती है, कुछ स्कीम्स होती है, टाउनशिप डेवलपमेंट है जिसमें हम लोग प्लॉट सेल करते हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल टाउनशिप होती है और प्लॉटेड सेल होती है. उनके केस में डेवलप्ड प्लॉट होते हैं, रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एवरीथिंग इज डेवलप्ड, तो उसमें कुछ जगह कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है कि वहां जो डेवलपमेंट का काम किया उस पार्ट के ऊपर टैक्स लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा, या जैसे 10,000 रुपए गज के अंदर कोई प्लॉट बेचा जा रहा है तो टोटल टैक्स फ्री है, हम ऐसा मान के चल रहे हैं। सब लोग ये मानते हैं लैंड सेल इज फ्री फ्रॉम जीएसटी, तो ये थोड़ा सा क्लैरिफाई करें इसमें। तीसरा पॉइंट एक आपने एड्रेस हो नहीं पाया उसमें कि डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ द जॉइंट वेंचर एग्रीमेंट। हमने अगर डिटर्मिनेशन कर दिया, उसको एरिया शेयर कर दिया कि ये 300 फ्लैट में से 100 फ्लैट हमने लैंड ओनर को दे दिए हैं और अभी काम चल रहा है, रजिस्टर्ड डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट को डिटर्मिनेशन रजिस्टर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट होता है, उसके तहत वो जो 100 फ्लैट के ओनर हो गए, उस केस में am I liable to pay GST on these 100 flats earmarked specifically with the numbers, या वो जो सेल करेंगे उनके बाद उनकी लाइबिलिटी आएगी? तो ये थोड़ा सा इसमें क्लैरिफाई करें कि लैंड ओनर को मैंने 100 फ्लैट दिए, उसके ऊपर क्या पोजीशन रहेगी आज की डेट में और जब वो सेल करेंगे वो। बाकी अगेन थैंक्स मनोज जी फॉर शेयरिंग ऑल द गुड थिंग्स टेक्निकली और सारा किया। बाकी ये एक दिन के सेमिनार की आवश्यकता है, हम लोगों ने और भी बहुत सारे अटेंड किए, लेकिन आपने जो समराइज बहुत ही क्विक एंड फास्ट वे में किया, दैट्स रियली अप्रिशिएबल। एंड वंस अगेन आई थैंक यू पंकज जी।
Thank you, sir. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to hear to the chairman sir, and we had a wonderful session. Friends, now it is the time that we can go on with the queries, and I would be taking some queries. Manoj ji, your mic is open. You would be taking the answers directly.
Yeah, first of all, I would like.
Let me say, before I start the queries, you can quickly respond to the chairman's query.
Yes, I am coming to that. The first point chairman sir raised is that in case the builder transfers raise bill on the landowner for 5 flats and landowner has sold only 3 flats, 2 flats are unsold. So what will be the position? So in such case, sir, the landowner is entitled to take credit of only in respect of 3 flats, not full 5 flats against his liability. And further, his output tax should not be less than the amount charged by the builder in respect of each flat. Number 1. Number 2, the landowner is liable to pay tax. Is not liable to pay tax if the 2 flats are being sold after completion of the project or issuance of occupancy certificate. So this is the clarification in respect of number 1 point. Number 2, you are talking about the development of plots and all these things. Friends, these notifications has very nicely prescribed the development of plots in the form of external development as well as internal development. So, but recently some advanced rulings as well as the definition of RERA is disturbing developers a lot, because development of land into plot is made taxable. According to me, what should be taxable? It should be only the value of construction, not the value of land. But by this way or that way, they are taxing the value of land as well, and it has to be challenged, and I believe it will be challenged, because development of land into plots should not be made taxable, including the value of land. But as on the date, position is very clear. Government has made its intention clear that development of land into plot is going to be taxable. So the as on the position is this. Now, in case of demarcation of area prior to completion or prior to occupancy certificate, here again, the law is silent on this particular point. Law prescribes only that the liability will arise as and when the occupancy certificate or completion certificate is issued. But in my view, if you have any registered agreement and you are preponing your liability, you can always do it by making intimation to your assessing officer. Accordingly, the landowner can take credit of the bill raised by the developer as well. So these are the 3 points Chairman sir has raised. I hope I am able to answer.
Thank you, Manoj bhai. Now let us come to the query 1, Mr. Subodh. Mr. Subodh, are you there? Mr. Subodh? Mr. Rishabh? Mr. Rishabh, are you there? Okay. Mr. Viren Thakkar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go on please with the query.
I am audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are audible. Go.
Please, good morning, sir. Sir, is GST applicable in redevelopment projects with increase in number of affordable flats in metro cities? At what rate is RERA applicable if the project cost is about 2 crores?
Sir, if you refer the frequently asked questions issued by the government on 7th May and 14th May, they make it very clear that redevelopment projects are taxable and rate of tax will be same as applicable to the normal development project. So I advise you to refer the frequently asked question wherein this answer has been categorically clear.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Ms. Kritika Jain. Kritika Jain.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Go on, please.
So regarding the taxability of TDRs, you said that 5 flats are of the landowner and 3 are sold till the completion certificate is issued. So why TDR is on 2 flats which are unsold? Why not on all 5 flats?
See, the intention of government is to take tax this way or that way. If developer is selling those 2 flats after completion certificate, there is no liability under GST as such because the entire project is sold after completion. So that is why
that is for construction services. Regarding TDR, so it should be for 5.
Yes, I'm telling you. By connecting it with TDR, I'm telling you. Suppose the developer has sold 3 flats before completion, 2 are unsold. Now developer did not pay any tax liability on these 2 flats. So government wants that you pay tax this way or that way. We need tax on 5 flats. So that is why the government is demanding tax in the form of TDR on those 2 flats. Further, the tax liability of such 2 flats will be restricted to the actual tax the builder would have been paying had it been sold. Had it has been sold.
Okay, so 2 on that TDR, 2 by way of TDR and 3 by way of construction.
Exactly.
So, but construction service
no
has been
cross
referred for
queries.
5.
Kritika ji, we will have to stop it here. Dilip Agarwal.
Sir, my question is that yes, hello.
Yes.
I am audible?
Yes, go
on. Sir, my question is that the landowner is taxable under which situation? Whether he is selling his share of flat during the construction and after the completion of construction. Which situations the landowner is taxable. And the second question is that the landowner is already a registered owner for sale of goods, and he has got the land. Now he enter into the JDA. Whether they allocated the flat after the completion is taxable for such the landowner?
See, your first question, landowner is liable to pay tax only when he resells the under construction flat to the independent buyer. So once he start booking amount, he start getting booking amount from the independent buyer on account of under construction flat, it is liable to tax under entry serial number 5B of schedule 2. So only on that portion landowner is liable to pay tax. And if he is selling after construction, after occupancy certificate or completion certificate, there will be no liability as such on the landowner.
Okay. Dilip ji, we will stop. Manoj ji, there is one query which is coming on my mobile.
Yes.
He says that a landowner entered into a joint development agreement. It was a 50-50, 16 flats were to be constructed, 8 and 8 flats were to be received. Now the developer is charging GST on the 8 flats given to the landowner. The CC has been obtained. What would be the tax scenario? Whether he has to pay GST, landowner?
See, it is a very important question and very good question. I appreciate the question very much. See, in this scenario, as soon as developer enters into landowner enters into a joint development agreement with the developer undertakes the responsibility to make construction of those 8 flats on behalf of the landowner. So irrespective of the fact that project is completed and possession is handed over after completion of project, the developer will going to charge tax at the applicable rate on those 8 flats. It is not exempted. It is not at all exempted.
And the second part is how to take the benefit of the input tax credit available to the developer.
Yes, if developer wants to sell those 8 flats during the construction stage only, it will attract liability. So he can make arrangement with the developer. Accordingly, developer can prepone his liability by making intimation to his assessing officer, and accordingly developer can raise bill on landowner before completion, and landowner while making sales can consequently take the credit of the bills raised by the developer.
Thank you. Yogesh Mehta.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. I have a question on the trading of a TDR. So Mr. A sells TDR to Mr. B and Mr. B sells to C, and in this case, only C is the developer. So how the taxability in the hands of Mr. B and Mr. A?
See, again, the trading of TDR is made taxable. I believe there is one advance ruling also on it. In the same manner in which we are taxing the projects, in the same manner the value of TDR will be determined, and accordingly it will be taxed.
Ashi and Parishi.
Good morning, Pankaj Bhaiya. Good morning, Nata ji.
Yes, go on. Okay.
There is a query, Nata sir, there is a query that joint development agreement has been entered into between the period 1st July 2017 and between 31st March 19, and the allocation has been done after 31st March 19, that 1419 after upcoming of this notification. Whether the development right will be under forward charge or a reverse charge. My query number 1, sir. And I have second query, whether...
Sir, only one query allowed.
Okay, sir. Okay, Bhaiya.
Sir, I have categorically covered this point while making my deliberation. If you have entered into JDA after 1st July, and if you are allotting the constructed area after 1st April, in that case, the old position will be continue, and you have to discharge TDR liability. Only landowner will discharge TDR liability. It will be under forward charge, not under reverse charge.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mahendra Chandalia.
मनोज सर नमस्ते।
नमस्ते
सर, मेरे एक क्लाइंट जो कि लैंड ऑनर है, उन्होंने डेवलपर के साथ 60-40 रेशियो पर एग्रीमेंट किया। डेवलपर ने जमीन पर मतलब 60 अफोर्डेबल हाउस का कंस्ट्रक्शन करके उसको बेच दिया, लेकिन इन्होंने रजिस्ट्री में ऐसी कंडीशन की कि 40% का चेक जो अल्टीमेट यूजर बायर है उसने 40% का चेक लैंड ऑनर को दे दिया, 60% डेवलपर को दे दिया। तो इस कंडीशन में टैक्स की लायबिलिटी कैसे रहेगी?
सर देखिए, चेक देने से आपकी टैक्स की लायबिलिटी डिटरमाइन नहीं होगी। टैक्स की लायबिलिटी डिटरमाइन होगी आपके एक्चुअल नेचर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन से, आपका प्रिंसिपली ट्रांजैक्शन क्या था। तो ये चेक देने वाली जो बात है, इट कैन बी सेटल्ड बाय वे ऑफ अकाउंटिंग एंट्रीज ओनली। सो जो लॉ की पोजीशन है आपको वही गवर्न करेगी, इरेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ फैक्ट कि आपने चेक किसको दिया है।
तो सर डेवलपर के अकाउंट में
नो फर्दर क्वेश्चन। चिन्ना स्वामी सौदागर।
गुड मॉर्निंग।
चिन्ना स्वामी। Yes
sir, good morning.
Good morning.
We are converting our ancestral property into residential flat, and we are selling, and we are offering into capital gain. Do we want to register for GST, and we need to pay GST? If it is, what is the valuation procedure?
See, if you are getting construction on your ancestral land and you are intending to sell, it is advisable to take registration, and accordingly you ask your developer to raise bills on you before the completion of the project, so that you can also take input tax credit on the bills raised by him, and you can adjust it with your liability while selling under construction plate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. C.S. Gupta.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, Gupta ji, boliye.
Sir, regarding JDA, one of my client taken agriculture vacant land for development, sir, 60-40 ratio. Is there any GST applicable for landowner or builder, sir?
Sir, if landowner is not selling further, GST will not be applicable. If landowner is selling under construction area,
no, sir. Only vacant land converted into plots, PLOT.
Sir, yes, plot is very much taxable. But liability will not be in the hand of the landowner. Liability will be only in the hand of the builder or developer.
How much, sir? How much percentage, sir? Builder? 60-40.
It is commercial project. 5% will be the tax rate without ITC after 1st April.
5%.
Manoj ji, will the vacant plot of land would be taxable under GST?
सर ये जो AAR आई है, इस AAR में सबसे बड़ी
AAR तो rubbish होती है, AAR नहीं. But you have to give your professional opinion, because I differ with you on this.
Yes, sir. Sir, my professional opinion is that this matter is going to be challenged in court of law, because sale of land per se is not liable. How can the development of land be liable?
So we should be clear. Our professional opinion are that sale of land, sale of plot is not taxable, even though there may be a contrary AAR. Mr. Ramchandra Reddy.
Thank you,
sir. Yeah, good morning. If we are eligible for ITC, what about anti-profiting? I mean, transfer the ITC benefit to the customer or purchaser? Is it compulsory?
See, when GST was introduced, it was one of the conditions for transitional credit that this ITC should have been transferred if builder or developer has taken any ITC. It was also disputed whether they are entitled to or not. So it was a condition that if they have taken any ITC on account of transitional provisions, so the benefit has to be passed on to the buyers. But in real, it is hardly seen that builder or developer has passed any benefit to the buyer. So according to me, section 171 will be attracted and they can be booked under anti-profiteering.
I may add to Manojji, all the builders are advertising that there is a discount going on and they are giving discount in ITC or something. So that benefit, by way of that, they can be saved from anti-profiteering.
Yes, sir.
What Manojji has said is absolutely right. But there is a, a shortcut to that also. Aditya, Mr. Aditya.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So my query is in relation to works contract. Now for works contract, the rate is 18%, and if it's affordable housing, the rate is 12%. So there are two questions to it. One is that for subcontracting, will the benefit of 12% be given?
Yes, it will be given.
And sir, if the 12% rate for affordable housing that is given in the notification, therein it is mentioned affordable housing of 60 square meters.
Not 60, 50.
It's 60, sir.
Affordable housing criteria is
yeah, so only then the contractor will be getting the lower rate benefit of 12%.
No. I think you have misunderstood the provision of law. There is a condition that if a developer approaches to a works contractor for getting construction service from him, works contract service from him, in that case, if it is affordable housing, developer has to make a declaration to the works contractor that he is constructing at least 50% of the total area for affordable housing.
Yes, sir.
50% of the total area, not 60.
No. I'm not talking about the percentage, sir. I'm talking about the area, 60 square meter. The flat size should be 60 square meter.
So let me complete. So if he is constructing 50 square meter area, at least 50% of the area for affordable residential property, in that case, developer will, this works contractor will charge tax at the rate of 12%. If at the end of the project it is found that developer has constructed only 40% of the area for affordable housing, then the differential amount of 10% will be charged under reverse charge.
Yes, sir. My query is not that, sir. My query is that
there may be some confusion. What I will do is I will share. You call me on my mobile or give me a message. I will share Manojji number so that you can both can solve the query. Okay.
Sure, sir. But I don't have your number.
Note my number 98290.
Yes, sir.
13626.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Mr. Raghuveer Singh Punia.
Sir, namaste.
Punia is a blog writer, a chartered accountant, and a daily expert on the recent case laws and everything from Jaipur. He is one of the wonderful men, always coming on TV with the beard. Now we can see the change face. So Punia ji, you are live now.
सर, आपने इतने स्वादिष्ट खाना परोस के और उसकी खुशबू सुंघा के छोड़ दिया, और नाटा जी के पास इतना खजाना पड़ा है, वो बाकी रह गया. अब उसके लिए क्या व्यवस्था करोगे, वो आपकी जिम्मेवारी है. मेरा नाटा जी से क्वेश्चन ये है कि AAR और AAR अथॉरिटी की जो गाइडलाइंस हैं, वो अदर असेसीज के केसेस में क्या बाइंडिंग है, क्या ये डिपार्टमेंट के लिए बाइंडिंग है?
ये अदर एसएससीज के ऊपर बाइंडिंग नहीं है, ये उनके ऊपर ही बाइंडिंग है जो इसे लिया है, जिन्होंने ली है उनके ऊपर ही बाइंडिंग है. हाँ, डिपार्टमेंट के लिए, दूसरे स्टेट के लिए एक परस्यूसिव वैल्यू रखती है, बट बाइंडिंग मेरे ख्याल से उनके ऊपर भी नहीं होनी चाहिए.
थैंक यू नाटाराम. पुनिया जी की एक बात का मैं भी जवाब दे दूं, रोज अगर हम पकवान खाएंगे, पार्टी करेंगे तो पेट खराब हो जाएगा, इसलिए कम खाने का ही मैंने इंतजाम कर रखा है. इसलिए 40 मिनट स्पीकर को देते हैं कि आप कल वापस आओ और वापस स्पीकर को सुनो. मिस्टर वैभव, नवनीत गोयल, सॉरी मिस्टर नवनीत गोयल.
सर, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, प्लीज गो ऑन.
सर, मेरे पास एक प्लॉट है जो 2000 स्क्वायर मीटर का है. मैं उस प्लॉट में से 70 मीटर का एक हाउस कंस्ट्रक्ट करता हूँ और उसको सेल कर देता हूँ, और फिर एक दोबारा बनाता हूँ और उसको सेल कर देता हूँ. क्या इसमें कोई टैक्स लायबिलिटी आएगी?
सर देखिए, अगर आप एक घर बना के बेचते हैं तो लॉ में उसकी एग्जेम्पशन है, उसका कोई टैक्स नहीं लगेगा। लेकिन आप
जी।
एक साथ सारे घर बनाते हैं और बेचते हैं, एक से ज्यादा अपार्टमेंट बना के बेचते हैं, तब टैक्स लायबिलिटी अराइज हो जाएगी आपकी।
Mr. Vaibhav.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is, would you again throw some light on the taxable rate of TDR and that flat value on which we are giving possession to the landowner?
Sir, TDR is taxable at the rate of 18%. Further, while calculating the value of TDR, डेवलपर ने जब TDR जॉइंट डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट एंटर हुआ था, उसके नियरेस्ट डेट में जिस रेट पे बुकिंग की है वही रेट एप्लीकेबल होगी अनसोल्ड फ्लैट्स के ऊपर, और उसी रेट को निकाल के उसी वैल्यू के ऊपर 18% एप्लीकेबल होगी। फर्दर इट इज आल्सो सब्जेक्ट टू 1% और 5% ऑफ द वैल्यू ऑफ अनसोल्ड फ्लैट। मैंने कहा था कि गवर्नमेंट जो है आपसे 1% या 5% से ज्यादा टैक्स नहीं लेगी जो माल आपके पास पड़ा हुआ है उसके ऊपर। तो जिस दिन आपने ट्रांसफर किया प्रॉपर्टी सीसी और ऑक्यूपेशन आने के बाद, उस दिन ने लास्ट बुकिंग जो रेट थी अनसोल्ड फ्लैट्स के ऊपर वो रेट लगा लीजिए, उसके ऊपर 1% या 5% जो कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए और दोनों वैल्यू को कंपेयर कर लीजिए, जो लिस्ट होगा वही टैक्सेबल वैल्यू होगा, वही टैक्स देना है आपको।
मिस्टर जेपी धीमन।
नमस्कार सर, मेरी क्वेरी है, मैं अपना लैंड डेवलपर हूँ सर, तो मेरे को एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट है, उससे मैंने प्लॉट लिया और वो मैंने
थोड़ा तेज बोले धीमन साहब।
हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेरी है, इफ ए लैंड ओनर gives a right to the developer for development of for example 10 plots, and out of which 5 are to be retained by the landowner, and my query is that if the landowner sells those plots after the completion, is there be any liability of the developer towards TDR? If yes, then how it will be calculated?
सर देखिए, अगर आप डेवलप प्लॉट्स को बेचते हैं आफ्टर कंप्लीशन तो कोई टीडीआर की कोई लायबिलिटी आपकी कंस्ट्रक्शन सर्विस की नहीं आएगी। हाँ, लेकिन ये लैंड को डेवलप करके आप बेचते हैं, इसके ऊपर टीडीआर एप्लीकेबल एज ऑन डेट है, एडवांस रूलिंग्स भी आ गई है और गवर्नमेंट की भी यही इंटेंशन है। बट मेरी ओपिनियन पर्सनली पूछे तो अगर लैंड को डेवलप करते हैं तो जब लैंड ही टैक्सेबल नहीं है तो डेवलपमेंट पे टैक्स काहे का? खाली आपसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा कंस्ट्रक्शन सर्विस के ऊपर टैक्स लिया जा सकता है, बट लैंड की वैल्यू पे नहीं लिया जा सकता।
राइट। Mr. Vipul, last 3 queries now. Mr. Vipul Shah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my question is that in case of the landowner while transferring TDR and in case of builder or developer, both are required to take to obtain registration, and landowner is required to take registration under which category, and landowner and the builder or developer can obtain registration under works contract, or he has to go for the residential complex construction services?
Sir, very good questions. I wish I could have covered this question in my deliberation. Friends, first of all, you see that when landowner will sell the under construction flats, his liability is arising by virtue of entry serial number 5B, that is construction service. He is getting the money before completion of the project. So he has to take registration, of course, under the construction services. Now, so far as the developer is concerned, developer is giving 2 services. Number 1, construction service. Number 2, transfer of TDR. For construction service, he has to take registration under construction head. For transfer of TDR, it is taxable presently under residuary head 9997. So on that other services, he has to take registration only.
But can he go to the works contract?
Sir, works contract, I believe it's not there. It is construction service only.
Okay.
Is there?
Before taking the next query, let me remind you, friends, tomorrow is 29th April and we will be taking issues in reassessment under income tax. Mr. Rajesh Doshi, Senior Chartered Accountant from Raipur, would be the star speaker of tomorrow. And Mr. Satish Gupta, Central Council member and President Rajasthan Tax Consultants Association, would be the chairman tomorrow. Please join us at 9:45 a.m. tomorrow again and have the benefit of the, what I can say, a good party, a good breakfast in the morning at this webinar. Next query is from Satish Kumar Singh. Satish Kumar Singh, are you there? Mr. KK Singla.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, my client is developing a commercial complex for leasing out the shops. Should he avail the ITC?
You want to say that on construction service, you want to take ITC. You are developing and on materials and these things, you want to take ITC. Is this the question?
हाँ जी.
Yes, sir. Again, I am taking
Yes,
the judgment of the Odisha High Court in case of Safari. ITC is generally blocked on if you are making construction for your own, and you are leasing it out. Generally, ITC is blocked under Section 17(5). But if you see the judgment of the Honorable Odisha High Court in case of Safari retreats, it allowed the ITC, and the matter is subjudiced before the Honorable Apex Court. So, if you want to play aggressively, you can take. If you want to play safer, you better to avoid.
Mr. Abhishek Oswal.
Yeah, Pankaj ji and Nahata ji, good morning.
Morning.
My query is regarding the press release which was there for the composition for the builders. That in that it was categorically mentioned that it has 80% of the purchases has to be from the registered dealer, but there was no circular or notification with respect to that. So can you please clarify on that?
Sir, already notification is there. You can refer notification 3/2019, 4/2019. FAQs has also been released with examples. They have given at least 5 examples that how this 80% will be calculated. So how can there be no circular for this? It is already there.
So can
Okay, friends, it was a wonderful session, and before moving further, I think we can have a final comment from the chairman, A.R. Gupta sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Really very fruitful for our professional brothers, and सारा जो डिस्कस था इन्होंने नाटा जी ने बताया, आपने कमेंट्स किए और हमने तो एंजॉय किया. सारे क्वेरीज जो बिल्डर्स सेगमेंट की थी, बहुत सारी क्वेरीज का क्लैरिफिकेशन मिला. And once again, thank to Nata ji and you and all listeners for having deliberations on this subject. And I would like to request Pankaj ji to continue this subject whenever he feels comfortable, because subject is having so much queries in mind, and Nata ji would be able to satisfy all persons quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman sir. And now I would request final comment from our star speaker of the day, Mr. Manoj Nata.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you, for patient hearing, and I wish I have succeed in my mission, that I am able to convey what I mean. Thank you very much.
Thank you, friends. It was a wonderful day hearing Mr. Manoj Nata and hearing the chairman comment from Mr. A.R. Gupta. I think there were a lot of queries, lot of raised hands. Friends, there were some people who were logging through their iPhone or Vivo or Dell PC. I request them, whenever they log, please put your name so that we can take their calls, because sometimes they are frivolous calls and we try not to take the queries of the person who is not, whose name is not coming on the screen. Friends, I think this is a wonderful series going on, a crisp presentation by the star speakers, a crisp question and answer session, a time-bound program. We are trying to end the program daily at 11:30 after taking all the queries, after hearing the speaker and everything. So tomorrow again, looking forward to meet you again at 9:45 a.m. sharp to have a further interesting session on income tax, reassessments and other aspects with the star speaker, Mr. Rajendra Doshi, and the chairman, Mr. Satish Gupta. With this, let's sign off. Let's have a good day. Let's have a wonderful day. Enjoy, be safe, and be there. Always circulate our messages. And we are also live on YouTube. You wait for our announcement of the 3rd series of webinar. And on 2nd of May, that would be an inspirational webinar by Sister Shivani of the Brahm Kumaris, being watched live by all the participants throughout the world on YouTube. We'll be sharing the link to you on the YouTube, and you just have to click on it. Only a click and you can get on the YouTube. You can share the today's video also on the YouTube. And thank you again, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Speaker. And see you tomorrow, 9:45 a.m. sharp. Okay, bye-bye. With this, I am ending the meeting. Bye.
Thank you.